It started with a late-night phone call in which Erica Mina's voice broke as she detailed yet another altercation with her husband Mendeecees Harris. Rumors had long circulated of his covert difficulties, but now Erica claims his drug abuse and illegal dealing has stabbed their family in the heart, according to insiders who claim she found secret drug caches in his trailer, as well as strange financial transactions into untraceable accounts and coded signals setting up late-night drop-offs. Fans are stunned, their emotions running high, and production crews on Love and Hip Hop reportedly halted filming as word spread of Erica's explosive claims, causing the family to become divided. In a tearful live stream, Erica shared her evidence on social media, and in costume trailers, colleagues whispered that he was demanding proofs and answers. After Erica's stunning revelation, everyone is wondering if Mendeecees is surreptitiously selling relief for profit, or if his wife is concocting a story about conflicts they never filmed that resulted in shouted voices reverberating down eerie hallways. The morning following Erica's tearful live stream, the lot felt like a war zone with lights standing idle, cameras idle, and coffee carts. Fans were waiting to see if the man they supported would be embroiled in scandal or emerge with his reputation intact. The tension was palpable on every social media platform. One assistant producer's eyes widened as she claimed that she had saw Mendeecees leave his trailer at early with a small bag in her hand. "I thought it was makeup," while staff huddled in groups and whispered about covert deliveries and hidden pill stashes reverberated through the hallways. Fans are stunned, emotions ran high, and the family was split as Erica's accusations threw a long shadow over every set wall. Fan voice shaking, "Then I saw the pills." Erica was pacing in her own trailer when she received a text from Yandandy that said, "We need to confront him now." Erica's phone screen was sparkling with messages from friends, family, and network officials. She decided to release the text she had surreptitiously recorded late at night in which Mendeecees pleaded for additional supplies, which were barely heard in the clip she ultimately shared. "I can't keep pretending this isn't destroying us." A few seconds later, Yandy cornered Mendeecees in the makeup trailer, her voice trembling as she addressed him, "You promised you were in recovery." He claimed he couldn't sleep without it, and the release of those tapes ignited social media, transforming private suffering into a public spectacle. "I thought I had it under control," when he slumped to the ground with his head in his hands and said, "I'm sorry," his tears blending with the harsh fluorescent light. Erica's voiceover and the production executives quickly called when the leaked video broke the tension control when she said, "You almost destroyed our family." Her words were like blows, and the sheer wrath in her voice showed how deeply broken she was. A seasoned producer sighed during an emergency stop, saying, "We can't film while this unfolds." In the meantime, tabloids seized on the reality TV star who turned drug lord, and networks released carefully worded statements about supporting cast wellness and looking into the charges. The various versions of the story, which suggested that Erica acted out of jealousy, only made the mayhem worse and left viewers confused of whom to believe within the Harris household, where siblings were assembled. Banner family in crisis, his brother beat the table while his mother grieved softly in the kitchen while holding a framed picture of Mendeecees smiling with his kids. His mother's face was drawn in whispered circles with concern. Evidence, not rumors. Erica's father remained silent until he put a soft hand on his daughter's shoulder and said, "We stand by you, sweetie," despite the fact that his eyes were filled with terror. Late-night talk shows turned into legal experts analyzed the encrypted communications Erica posted, while addiction counselors offered their opinions on the symptoms of dependency. One therapist cautioned that addiction thrives in secrecy, turning the story into a must-see TV show. As viewers discussed whether Erica's disclosure was a necessary intervention or a case of callous exploitation, the pundits fueled the flames, and another denounced the public exposure as potentially ruining their prospects of recovery. Amidst a personal issue, a former cast member surfaced with fresh allegations that he had witnessed Mendeecees negotiating with a man wearing a hoodie behind the stage entrance. "I thought they were shooting a scene," he explained, "but it turned out to be actual security." When questioned, the network blamed film production overruns. But the timing matched Erica's text logs, which revealed the junction of storylines that created a persuasive portrayal of criminal activity. Logs later confirmed anonymous visitors after curfew. Was this relapse treatment or a PR move? Fans wondered as Mendeecees withdrew into solitude and paparazzi flashes showed him exiting a rehab facility with his hood drawn low. "He's poisoning himself in the show," one fan said on Instagram. "Give him a break," another fan replied. The internet discussion reflected the beginning conflict between compassion and criticism, privacy and publicity, and the idea that compassion addiction is an illness. In a leaked video, he denied planning any distribution network and said softly into his phone, "I only ever sold my medications to help friends who were suffering." In her next live stream, Erica reacted angrily, saying, "Friends, you provide the confrontation unfolded live, revealing chords deeper than legal risk, the violation of trust between husband and wife, family, friends, and others." They were taken away in parking garages at midnight, which is not medicine but trafficking, came out with contradictory stories. One said Mendeecees had admitted to delivering pills to a boyhood buddy under the mistaken impression that he was assisting, while another acknowledged taking pills and reselling them for money. The two stories twisted reality like a web. Mendeecees broke down in tears as he screamed, "I'm lost, and I don't know who I am anymore," as the clan assembled for a family intervention that Erica organized, demanding complete openness. Production now faced difficult decisions. Should they record the intervention for a special episode? Could they strike a balance between authenticity and the dignity of real people? His confession provided no definitive answers, only additional questions. An honest service arc was mentioned in crisis notes, but sponsors backed off. One big company halted their sponsorship due to brand safety worries, and the network covertly created a different season. Concentrating on the plots of other cast members, the issue had grown too poisonous to continue unchecked. Outside the studio gates, fans staged prayer vigils and online petitions, with some calling for Erica to drop the charges, seek therapy instead, while others called for authorities to look into the suspected trafficking of the #Thice family. One segment went viral, revealing the unadulterated suffering of those who were interested in their narrative. Scores of people attended a vigil at the studio entrance. Erica, fatigued but unbowed, gave a final interview to a late-night blog with lights flickering and whispers of fear and hope mingling. "I never intended to harm him because I love him and my kids need to be secure from her weakness." Spoke to a lot of people, but others saw her teary visage as proof of exaggeration, saying that it's reality TV, not reality. One comment said, "Stop crying for ratings." The gap between empathy and skepticism was more profound than any plot point as night. Erica sat in the living room, shoulders bent, scrolling through messages of support and contempt, while Mendeecees lay in a guest room with the door locked, seeking peace and quiet during those first difficult days at the Harris residence. The decision weighed heavily on her bones. She had chosen truth over peace, but at what cost? The family was split, with the father and mother torn between believing in their daughter's ability to succeed and being loyal to their son. Eventually, they released a brief statement pledging to help Erica and Mendeecees get through this trying time. Guaranteed the cast's safety and well-being, but beneath the well-polished statements were ambiguous questions. Would cameras ever document a true recovery, or would the next scandal overshadow this one? Fans eagerly awaited part 2 in the drugs. The morning following Erica's live stream, the studio lot was eerily quiet, sound stages were dark, and camera crews had disappeared overnight. Rumors of secret pill exchanges and midnight drop-offs reverberated through empty spaces as the investigation deepened, alliances changed, and family ties were put to the ultimate test. Inside a conference room, network executives debated whether to continue recording or stop everything. "We built our show on drama," one producer remarked in a shaking voice, "but this is real life and too dangerous to ignore." Corridors. Producers received furious SNS from sponsors demanding explanations. Ignore. In her trailer, Erica met a seasoned private investigator who shared documents that traced Mendeecees' travels and GPS pings, locating him at abandoned garages around 2 in the morning. Her hands trembled as she followed every line on the spreadsheet. It all connects, which Dandy Smith had to endure her own struggle at a neighboring recovery facility, where cameras flocked to her arrival to aid Men's. Reporters yelled, "Yandy, do you still believe in him?" when she attempted to enter the entrance with the phone in hand following last week's overdose, and she hesitated, her eyes welling with tears. Her response, "Believe in recovery," was more steady than anticipated. "But I need honesty first." Her message went viral on social media, igniting intense discussions over whether she was supporting a man in crisis or a monster. Back on the lot, castmates were huddled in small groups. While filming, a co-worker described the strange visitor who gave him a brown packet. The stylist acknowledged that she had discovered unmarked pill bottles in Mendeecees' trailer trash and assumed they were prescriptions. Had they overlooked indicators of as alliances changed, with some supporting Erica's request for intervention and others warning of impulsive betrayal. Illicit deals for ratings' sake caused trust to dissolve. Meanwhile, Mendeecees withdrew to a friend's penthouse under severe guard. Fans wondered if he was fleeing from federal authorities or from Erica's fury after paparazzi caught him slipping in via a back door with his hood drawn low. Video leaks purported to show him meeting with 2 mysterious persons and exchanging little packets in cash. Authenticity was not confirmed, but when tabloids played dramatic music while looping film, the harm was done. Inside a downtown law office, Mendeecees' public opinion wavered between anger at an alleged trafficker and sympathy for a guy battling addiction. Attorneys examined the data that Erica's team had given to federal authorities, looking for discrepancies in transfer amounts, strange geolocation logs that duplicated known studio commutes, and message timestamps that didn't match phone records. Their plan was to challenge the veracity of the evidence. Jasmine Rodriguez, the head council member, leaned back and penetrated. "We'll prove this is smoke and mirrors," highlighting possible framing by competing cast members envious of Mendeecees' comeback. Mendeecees' mother, who had previously been steadfast in her religion, now sat quietly in a corner, quivering, while she browsed through social media, said that the Harris relatives struggled with shock and doubt during private family meetings. His sister's voice shifted sharply to the others. "We can't ignore these allegations, but we can't abandon him either." According to a relative, Erica's public appearance might put Mendeecees' family's unity at peril. Tense under the weight of competing allegiances and anxiety, late-night talk show panels took over the topic. Addiction specialists emphasized the importance of compassion and treatment over censure, while legal analysts cautioned about the perils of making snap decisions without following the proper procedures. "If the evidence holds, we cannot excuse trafficking under the guise of illness," one presenter retorted, while another counselor stated that addiction lives on secrecy and that public exposure can impede someone's recovery. Millions of viewers watched as a personal tragedy and legal intrigue collided amid the frenzied activity of a former associate of. In a secret interview, Mendeecees came out and said he had seen money being exchanged in back alleyways under the direction of Mendeecees. Described a man with a weak voice who described code names. Such critics of Alpha Drop and Cleanup criticized his motivation, calling him a supporter of a disgruntled ex-friend seeking retribution. Contested his evidence, confirmed Erica's screenshots. The contradictory reports further polarized followers and increased the mystery. In the meantime, Erica's publicist worked with prominent media sources to get her the first Sci-Town interview following her accusations that she prepared in private for inquiries on motive, proof, and possible remorse. "I spoke up to save my family," and Erica practiced her responses. "I hoped she would respond. Means receives the assistance he requires, but I will stand up to keep our kids safe." Sensing an opportunity, the network carefully balanced sensationalism with promises of primetime coverage. In order to rework the season's narrative in the event that they framed the issue, sympathetic production execs convened crisis meetings. A rough outline suggested a redemption arc or a pivot to other cast members. Three-part special detailing Erica's battle for the truth and Mendeecees' road to healing. If he came out of hiding, sponsors objected to the idea of making money off of addiction and demanded more transparent wellness guidelines before after production resumed. The network's public relations staff created new cast support rules. And private reporting of the legal activities on the island. Fans outdoors slept overnight in the hopes of seeing the cast members arrive. Some had ratings. Others pleaded for Mendeecees to return, while campfires glowed beneath portable warming lamps as supporters prayed for a resolution at the community's bedside and exchanged theories. Vigil demonstrated a greater yearning for responsibility and genuineness in reality TV. As the sun rose on the horizon, individuals should rise above crises rather than be destroyed by them. On day 2 of this developing story, FBI investigators verified key cast members were handed subpoenas as part of their formal investigation into the purported distribution network. Investigators and crew members, including producers and personal assistants, combed through logs, financial records, and communication backups for every person who is subpoenaed, have to decide whether to comply and risk disclosing personal information or to oppose and face contempt charges. The stakes were higher than ever before for everyone involved in the situation, not only Mendeecees. In a final twist, an anonymous tip directed investigators to a remote storage facility with unlabeled containers. Some of them have labels that use street slang for drugs. Their identification led to a fresh round of arrests and expanded the investigation to include possible co-conspirators in addition to Mendeecees. The headline Ring Revealed was published in newspapers the following morning, stating that it's possible that Erica's bravery revealed a bigger illegal operation hiding behind the glamour of reality TV.